Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says the number of people killed in an Israeli airstrike near the southern city of Khan Younis has risen to at least 71. Nearly 300 more are said to have been injured. The attack happened in the al-Mawasi area of Khan Younis. The Israeli military has designated this area a safe zone, urging Palestinians to seek shelter there. It says the strike was on a fenced Hamas area and described most people there as militants. These pictures are of the moment of the blast. An eyewitness has described the scene to the BBC, saying it was like an earthquake. Doctors at a nearby field hospital are reported to be struggling to cope with the scores of casualties. Well, here's the BBC's Nick Beake with more on the strike.
This is an area where Palestinians had been told by the Israeli authorities that they would be safe. It was a designated so-called safe zone, but clearly what's happened is there's been a huge airstrike here. What's clear is a lot of people have been killed, and that figure could rise sharply, it would seem. You talked about some of the video, we saw some of the video there, and it really shows a very graphic and distressing scene. This huge plume of smoke, an indication of just how big the blast was, this airstrike was, the damage it did. You've got families digging amid the rubble, you've got other relatives being consoled, bloodied casualties being loaded onto stretchers, and in the nearby Q8 field hospital, completely packed, chaos there, some people being treated on the floor. It appears some children are injured as well. No word yet from the Israeli Defense Forces officially, but interestingly, the Israeli military radio station is citing defense sources, 3 defense sources, saying that this was a very significant strike. Now, we don't know if that's significant in terms of the loss of life, which clearly a lot of people have been killed here, or whether it was very significant in that, as has been the case in previous strikes, the Israeli military have targeted Hamas individuals, and we've seen lots of people die as a result of that.
And we do know there has been fierce fighting in this area in recent days. Just talk us through what's been happening.
Yeah, well, Khan Younis is right in the south of the Gaza Strip, where the fighting has continued, as well as in Gaza City, which is Gaza's biggest city, and other parts of the Strip as well, with people being reported killed every day. So this is the reality. I mean, there's one district of Gaza City itself where the authorities said that they recovered 60 bodies after a very intense 48 hours of military operations by the Israeli government. Of course, the government here says that the mission to destroy Hamas continues and won't stop until it's done. All the while, these peace talks are going on, but no indication that they made a huge amount of progress this week in the conversations in Doha. Also, there were some talks in Egypt as well, and this is the bleak reality. This is the horror of what's happening, and I think the images we're seeing today speak for themselves.
Israel's army radio has said the target of the strike was the Hamas military chief, Mohammed Deif. Well, Hamas has denied this. Let's bring in our Gaza correspondent, Rushdie Abuluf, who is in Istanbul. Rushdie, what are you hearing?
Yeah, still no confirmation, denial from Hamas about this. They said what happened is a war crime committed by Israel targeting innocent civilian in the so-called safe zone. What happened, we have been talking to many sources in the area. There was the main strike that hit a building which housed some food distribution center, then followed by about 4 or 5 secondary airstrikes around the area. One of them was targeting also a civil defense car that rushed to rescue the people. So it's very complicated sort of area, because the area where west of Khan Younis, it's called al-Mawasi. It's the area that designated as a safe zone with about 700,000 people. They live there, very crowded area. That's why we have seen this huge number of casualties, about 71 confirmed killed, and over 200 people were injured. Doctors are struggling in 3 medical centers to save people's lives. The number of patients and the number of injured arrived very quickly to the hospital is huge, and doctors are trying to cope with the situation. About Mohammed Deif, he's the commander, military commander of Hamas. He's been targeted 4 or 5 times by Israel. He was seriously injured back in 2014 war. There is no confirmation yet from Hamas about him, but this is the highest ranking name or military chief, and he's the one who followed the 7th of October attack by Hamas. He made this speech, and he was addressing the people afterwards. So it's quite significant. If he's the target, it is very significant. The area is significant because it's the safe zone, and the number of people killed is huge in this area.
And we were just showing a picture of Mohammed Deif back in 1996, so a very old image, but just talk us through what we know about him.
He was, a mastermind behind most of the Hamas attacks for the last 25, 30 years. Mohammed Deif is a well-known. They call him the chief commander of the military wing. He was, until recently during this war, when the Israeli intelligence released fresh picture of him, everybody thought that he was half a person. Like, he used to have a lot of rumors about him that he lost his hand in he lost his eye, he lost his wife and his brother, and Israel tried to kill him many times. I remember for the last 20 years covering this conflict, I have covered at least 4 or 5 times when Mohammed Deif was a target. They tried to kill him after the Hamas kidnapped Gilad Shalit in 2006. They tried to kill him in the 2009 war, and they killed his wife and his family members in 2014 in a house in Gaza City, and he was badly injured. So Israel has been hunting for him for a very long time, and if they got him, I think it's significant. He would be the highest ranking person killed in this war.
And Rushdie, while we have you, we're just going to be showing some live pictures now in Khan Younis. There you go. That is near to the blast site, near to the hospital there. You can see that there are a number of people walking around on the streets. We're hearing since the start of the war, 38,000 people, according to the Hamas Health Ministry, have been killed. What are eyewitnesses saying to you? You've been speaking to some people on the ground. The Israeli military saying that the strike was on a fenced Hamas area. Others saying that this was actually a safe zone for Palestinians. Are you getting a clearer idea of where this strike took place?
Yeah, just to explain, the al-Mawasi area is like a small strip of land in the western part of Khan Younis near the beach. It's agricultural area with a lot of farms. And back in October and November and December, Israel said this is the area, it's called the safe zone. They were, ordering people from Rafah, from Khan Younis, from all around the Gaza Strip to go there because it's safe. The area is like twice the size of Heathrow Airport, and it's very densely populated area with thousands of tents are there, and many of small makeshift houses were set up in the area. The area is really crowded, and according to witnesses, what happened is like earthquake. Is about 3 airstrikes using fighter jets in the area, and about 3 or 4 secondary strikes, maybe used drone or quadcopter drones in the area. So it's a quite big strike in a significant area, where a very crowded place near a market, near a food distribution center. Many civilian casualties in the area. We have seen image of people digging in their bare hand, trying to get their loved ones from under the rubble. In the hospital, there is too many civilians. We have seen footage of women, children are among those killed in the area. Well, as I said, Hamas officially denied. Hamas officially said this is a war crime and Israel is responsible for killing innocent civilians in a safe zone. Witnesses are reporting, as I said, many civilian casualties are among the people who were killed in the area. Very conflicting report about the number, very conflicting report about the situation for the injured. Very serious injuries are still in the hospital, but the overall number is still 71 killed and over 200 people injured.
Okay, Rushdie Aboualouf, there, our Gaza correspondent with the latest. Well, we are just getting some more information in. The Israeli official has confirmed Hamas military chief was the target of the strike. This is according to an Israeli official. The IDF struck Mohammed Deif and Rafa Salama ahead of the Khan Younis brigade, who are some of the masterminds, they say, behind the 7th of October massacre. Now, they're saying that this strike was carried out within a fenced area where, according to its information, Hamas were there, and only Hamas terrorists, no civilians. As I say, this is coming from the IDF, and we'll bring you some more on that as soon as we get it with our correspondents in the Middle East.